How's it going, dreamers? In this video, I'm going to be showing you the best way to save data from a settings menu. Alright, so if we go into my saving menu tutorial and just press continue, you'll notice how it starts at no, 55, 45 hard. So we can go through, change it, let's make it 70, 70, and yes. If we exit and go back in, the settings are saved. This is not a tutorial on how to make this menu, like everything about it. It's only the method of saving. If you'd like a fully fledged tutorial on how to make a menu from start to finish, let me know. I might make a series on it. But anyway, I want to show you exactly how I'm doing the saving. There's a specific way to do it that is just by far the best way. So this is the settings menu logic. We're not going to worry about this. This is just the controls, like up, down, left, right. Let's look at this first. The variables. I would hope if you're saving data, you're using variables. There's no other way to do it. These four variables are the settings that we're saving. So whether or not Y is inverted, your music volume, your effects volume, and your difficulty. So invert Y is either on or off. So the value is 0 or 1. The min is 0, the max is 1. A music volume and effects volume, these are a little bit weird. With those, I'm just directly changing the master mixer, and it's a number from -1 to 1. To figure that out, you just have to test it. But so -1 to 1. And finally, difficulty. I chose 4 difficulty levels. So it's from 0 to 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. That's 4 different levels. Okay, so that's how the settings are saved. That's not the difficult part, though. The weird part is how the menu itself changes them and uses them. If we just go into invert Y, it'll look a little weird, but I just want to preface this by saying, this is not this might be intuitive to you, but for me it was not. The first way I thought about making a settings menu is basically the controls directly change a selector, and then whatever that selector is on sets the variable. But there's an issue with this. You'll need to use on the very first couple frames of the game, you'll need to set the initial state of that selector. And yes, that works and it's completely fine, but it's kind of hacky and not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to have the controls, left and right, D-pad for example, to directly change the variable. And then just to display what is chosen, just get the variable. So we don't have to worry about when we're saving and when we're loading. We're just always saving. In this tutorial, I have 3 different scenarios. One where we're saving a Boolean, another where we're saving a decimal, -1, -0.9 to 0.91, the music volume, for example. And then a third example is where we're saving choices easy, medium, hard, impossible. For the Boolean, for on or off, for a checkbox, it's pretty easy. I'm using left and right as the same button because if we go into this is the right button, this is the left button, it's the same result. So this menu doesn't use X, but if you did use X, this could be a checkbox instead. But anyway, what's happening here? Basically, if the value is 1, we want to set it to 0. And if the value is 0, we want to set it to 1. If it's 0, yes, displays. And if it's 1, no displays. See? Because we're putting the value into the active port of a selector. So 0 represents A, 1 represents B. Anyway, how do we do that? If the value is 1, we want it 0. If the value is 0, we want it 1. Well, we're getting the value, and we're checking if it equals 0. If it equals 0, this outputs a 1. So the next time we press the left or right D-pad, we set it to 1. If it does not equal 0, this outputs a 0. So if it does not equals 0 and we press the left or right D-pad, it sets it to 0. So to recap, if it's 0, it sets it to 1. If it's 1, it sets it to 0. That's how this works. That's how you would save a Boolean, something that's 0 or 1. What's next? How about a float? How about a analog piece of data? That would be music volume. We are going down or up. These two, music and effects are exactly the same, so I'm only going to cover the first one. So this is probably the easiest one of them all. This is just ridiculously easy. It's literally, if you go left, if we go left, we subtract 0.1. So we're adding negative 0.1 to music volume. And if we press the right D-pad, we are adding 0.1. And that's it. And then, so we are, to display it, we just get the value. This is a little bit tricky. I'll go over how we display it soon. But first, why does this work? Well, what is preventing us from going over 1 or under -1, which is the range that we're using? And by the way, it can be any range. You can do any range you want, but it's this. So the variables min value and max value. It doesn't matter how many times you press right D-pad to make it go over. It will not go over the max value. Displaying is a little weird. So yes, the value is -1 to 1, but we want to display it from 0 to 100, right? So we just use a signal manipulator. We're taking in values from a range from -1 to 1, and we want to display it 0 to 100, and that's what this does. If you don't know how that's working, there are a bunch of awesome signal manipulator tutorials on YouTube, probably. If there's not, let me know. But so we're turning the value range -1 to 1 into 0 to 100, and that's how we get this. So if we go all the way down to 0, you can see that the value is -1, and it's displaying, well, you can see it right there, it's displaying 0. And if we go, so you can see the value right here is 10, and -0.8 equals 10, and if we keep going, so you can see how it's like translating the number into what we want it to be. See? So that's how it works. It's super easy. It's literally just adding or subtracting. That's super easy. Now for the most difficult one. And that's going to be, well, no pun intended. It's going to be difficulty, the most difficult one. So why is this the most difficult? If you didn't want it to loop, if you don't care if it loops around, it's just as easy as music or effect volume. It's literally the same. But to make it loop, it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky. I tried a lot of different solutions for this, and only one worked well, and it's this. You'll notice how it's exactly the same at first as the music and effects volume one, where it's left D-pad subtracts 1, and right D-pad adds 1. We want it to loop around though, right? So when let's go looping backwards first. When we're on 0, all right? When we're on 0 and we press the left D-pad, we want it to go here, okay? So we're checking if difficulty is equal to 0, and all we're doing is keyframing this variable modifier to set it to 3, which sets it to the other side, to the max. If we undo, or if we go right and then left, so notice how this is off and this is off. If we go left, this turns on. This turns this keyframe on. So the next time we press the left D-pad, this keyframe makes this variable modifier set the variable to 3, not subtract 1. So if we go left one more time, see, it puts it here. And then and you notice it turns back off. But I mean, that's the idea, right? So it's just like the music volume, but at 0, it changes this one to set it to 3, and at 3, it changes this one to set it back to 0. All right. So that's how looping is handled. And then displaying is actually very similar to the first one, the Boolean one. We are getting the value. We're just getting the value. And we're setting the value into the active port of a selector. And then, again, it was 0, 1, 2, or 3. So 0 is easy. 1 is medium. 2 is hard. And 3 is impossible. And so, like, 0, 1, 2. So now the value is going to be 2, for example. See? So that's the technique. We are directly changing the variables. All right. We're not like changing a counter and then that counter sets the variable, because how do you set the initial state of that counter? You can, but this is just so much cleaner. It's so much cleaner. We're directly changing the variable we're saving, and then we display whatever the variable is, right? We just display whatever the variable is. So that is how you should do your settings menus. That's how you should save your setting menu data. If you guys want a full tutorial on like everything that goes into making like maybe a title screen menu or a settings menu, like all the animations and how to make like multi-page menus, for example, let me know. I can do that. Just let me know. The scene and the dream are on the Dreamverse as remixable, so definitely check it out if you're interested in this. But yeah, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you learned something. Let me know if you did. If you want additional Dreams help, I have a Discord. The link is in the description, where you can ask any questions you have. And if you want me to help you live, I stream Dreams on Twitch every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes Saturdays. Just stop in and ask me, or just stop in and watch what I'm doing. It's pretty interesting. But anyway, guys, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.